Well, let me see. We have some things going on in the boxing game right now, and I definitely want to call this out because I don't know what Anthony Joshua situation is right now in the boxing game, but Eddie Hearn needs to figure it out ASAP. I'm so tired of hearing fake fans in boxing look the other way when it comes to certain people. And these dudes ain't proved themselves ever in boxing. And people just look the other way. It's too much of that going on in boxing right now. People are looking the other way and using guys' name for promotion. Yeah, it's way too much of that going on. I don't know what the problem is in boxing, but it got to get fixed ASAP. What I'm seeing in the sport right now, nah, this ain't gonna last. Not what they doing. I mean, the sport will last. What they doing is not gonna last. So Eddie Hearn came out yesterday, and he was saying that Deontay Wilder basically is he doesn't put fear in anybody anymore as far as heavyweight. And from what I heard from Eddie Hearn, nobody ever feared him. So now people fear him. Dude's already a hypocrite as soon as he opens his mouth. So now he says people fear Deontay and Wilder, but they don't no more, which is crazy. But Eddie Hearn, man, he does a way too much when it comes to trying to promote Anthony Joshua. At this point right now, he's hurting the sport to try to promote. Oh, hold on. He's hurting the sport by trying to promote this guy. If you got to promote this guy this bad, he ain't that good, man. We just got to keep it real. He's not that good. So from what I'm hearing right now, this is the thing in boxing that's terrible. It's bad. It's sad that I even got to explain this. But so Anthony Joshua last fight was 5 rounds. He got dropped like 4 times, which is horrible. I don't know how Eddie Hearn looks past all that. Anthony Joshua had the worst performance as a heavyweight last year. And he's like, yeah, Wilder, he needs to do something so we can have the fight back so people can be interested in the fight again. This dude keeps using American fighters to promote his own fighters that can't promote themselves. When is Anthony Joshua gonna be able to promote himself and be looked at as a all time great on his own? He's not looked at as an all time great. To be honest with you, Anthony Joshua gonna be 35 later this year, and they still got to build him up. Sound like with Eddie Hearn. But then you got guys rolling around still. Oh man, Wilder, he ain't did this. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. What has Anthony Joshua done? I want somebody to tell me what has Anthony Joshua done in boxing, because I don't know if people know it or not. If another year goes by like it is now, where nobody's mentioning him, he's going to be finished. He's borderline done already. They want two guys who's basically one of them in retirement. They want Tyson Fury to come out of retirement and fight a guy who's lost every second of a 5 round fight and got dropped 4 times in 4 different rounds in a 5-round fight against a young guy he basically helped into the game. Not saying help, but a young guy that he was basically around most of his career and got flatlined by him. So you got replaced by a guy that people didn't feel like you was gonna replace. Or that was gonna replace you, my bad. Not you was gonna replace, but that was gonna replace you. I don't know if people know it. Joshua got replaced, bro. Him and Fury got replaced by Dubois. That's why everybody's out here now. Oh, we need to see another. Why would you want to see a rematch for a guy a quitter that you should call a quitter? They try to act like they got high standards and stuff like that. You literally are begging a guy you called a quitter to save your country and go defeat Usyk after he beat Tyson Fury and Joshua twice. That's embarrassing, man. Them dudes had I don't think they was, to be honest with you, where was they dominating either of those fights as far as just complete domination against Usyk? None. So y'all gave those guys an hour apiece to knock out Usyk. They had over an hour. So Joshua had over an hour to knock out Usyk, couldn't do it. Fury had over an hour to knock out Usyk, couldn't do it. And then people wonder why I call this guy a weight bully. You can't knock out a guy who's 230, 250, but guy 200 pounds, yeah. That's the one. The guy who's 200 pounds, yeah, that's Tyson Fury's best win. Dude's overrated, bro. Dude is overrated. He will never get credit from me for that Deontay Wilder win. As much as people slander Deontay Wilder and say he's trash, Tyson Fury is going to be the most overrated fighter in boxing history to me. Anthony Joshua, he's the most overrated heavyweight right now. It's not even close. Because the reason why is because people are not even paying attention to this guy, and they expected him to carry heavyweight boxing for the last 10 years. And now every time one of these dudes get their tail whooped, they go back to, Wilder, he needs to, Wilder this and Wilder that. What does Joshua need to do? I thought he was the face of boxing. I thought Tyson Fury was the greatest thing since Muhammad Ali. What do those guys need to do? Why Eddie Hearn ain't promoting his fighter? Oh, he got an elbow injury? So he got put into the mat so bad that he got an elbow injury. Wilder chin stronger than his. Wilder got hit without looking and still got up. He got right up. Wasn't even looking, got hit with on the chin. About a 300-pound man. Joshua got hit looking straight at the guy and couldn't even get up. Falling on his face and neck. You don't see none of those pictures going around. Man, these people in protection mode in boxing. A lot of these promoters and people, bro, they ain't strong enough to be in the sport of boxing. They strong enough to get a fighter and matchmake with him and put him in there with somebody he can beat, but they not in a position where they can just put guys in the ring with anybody. All that hyping up stuff, it's been 10 years and most of these guys still ain't got in the ring with nobody. The only people getting played is these fans who up here trying to act like a guy like Wilder is just so bad. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna, every time that topic I even feel like talking about it, I'm gonna bring it up. Tired of hearing this dude's name get used for views and clicks. And Eddie Hearn can't promote Anthony Joshua, so he needs to talk about an American fighter. Man, I'm tired of hearing that. They just did that with that Bacoli dude because he beat a prospect, and then he got whooped by F.L. Jogba, who done got whooped plenty of times in America. Oh, Bacoli the boogeyman. He the boogeyman. I'm like, boogeyman? The hell? How you the boogeyman? That man 32 years old. Boogeyman is 32 years old. And I ain't never heard of. You 32 years old and you a boogeyman? Man, please. They be pushing who they want to push. And that is a fact. These guys are not bringing anything to the sport of boxing. Nothing. They sit around here and bring up Wilder's name every day. I thought y'all was pushing boxing to the point where y'all didn't want to mention this guy. You had Anthony Joshua, who was in a position fighting Ngannou and all kind of other stuff. Anthony Joshua's fighting guys like he's Floyd Mayweather. Oh, let me go ahead and fight Ngannou. Bro, you just lost to Usyk twice. If anybody needs to be getting better, it's you. You done lost to Andrew Ruiz, Usyk, Dubois. Now look at Wilder's losses and look at Joshua's losses. Joshua got some nasty losses that everybody looks past. He was never great. You was never great losing to Andrew Ruiz. Then you lose to Usyk twice. Then you get torn apart by Dubois. If y'all ain't realized that Dubois the first real power puncher he been in the ring with. And look what happened to him. Got Swiss cheese. He the first real power puncher that Joshua been in the ring with. People will be like, oh, well, Joshua could have did this against Wilder. Yeah, okay. Joshua lost his career. That was the easiest fight Daniel Dubois ever had in his life. Daniel Dubois had a harder fight against Joe Joyce than he did Anthony Joshua. And they talking about Joe Joyce should retire. So what you think Anthony Joshua should do? You don't think Anthony Joshua should hang it up? This is what Eddie Hearn said about Deontay Wilder, because he has Deontay Wilder's cock in his mouth. He says, I think the fight's not going to tell us too much, but just to get the confidence of a win. I think he struggles against this guy. He's got to pack it in. They said if he struggles against this guy, he's got to pack it in. But hopefully he can win well, and, we'd sign to fight Deontay Wilder. We were announcing it an hour in Saudi Arabia. He lost to Joseph Parker. So he admits that he was supposed to fight Deontay Wilder after the Joseph Parker fight that went 12 rounds. Well, Joseph Parker absolutely did nothing that anybody can brag about in that fight except lean and lean and lean. I mean, goddamn, it was like an MMA fight. Joseph Parker was leaning on Wilder more than an MMA fighter leans on somebody in the cage. But people will be like, yeah, that was an awesome win, man. Wilder should retire. What you think Joshua should do? He got dropped 4 out of 5 rounds. He got dropped in every round of that fight he was in except one round. You know how hard it is for a boxer at Joshua's level to get dropped every round by a domestic level fighter he's been around most of his career? Oh my God. We're talking about hanging it up. Shoot, if Eddie Hearn should have said this about Joshua. If he struggles against Dubois, he's got to pack it up. He should have packed it up. You came off an Ngannou fight. It did nothing for his career. He didn't develop. He didn't get better. Nobody ever tells Anthony Joshua to get better after getting outclassed by Usyk twice. Nobody ever tells this guy to get better. Oh, he's a gold medalist. He's this, he's that. And he got whooped like he was a prospect. Nobody tells this guy to get better. The media has these fans by the balls, and they know it. They'd have castrated these fans. They don't even have the balls enough to have their own thoughts. They're walking around acting like Anthony Joshua is just the greatest thing since sliced bread so they can promote this guy. He hasn't done anything for the sport of boxing. I am not wasting any more time with people trying to promote these guys and build these 40-year-old, 30-year-old fighters up so they can be on a level like Deontay Wilder. You can't pull up no fights that's exciting like the ones Wilder has been in. Joshua ain't pulling in no views like that. He could have fought Fury 10 years ago. He's a coward. It is what it is. You let another man come over there, and if Fury and Joshua fight right now, it still ain't going to be bigger than Wilder and Fury. Everybody knows it, and that's facts. Anybody who agrees with that, you just agree with it. You may disagree with it. If Fury and Joshua fight right now, the fight will not be bigger than Wilder versus Fury. Let's cut it out. Let's stop it. Not the first one, not the second one, not the third one. The guy is not on that type of level right now. To be honest with you, I don't know the last Anthony Joshua fight I seen where everybody was impressed. When he knocked out Ngannou, nobody cared. When he knocked out Otto Wallin, they talked about was Joseph Parker going 12 rounds with Wilder. So you was the main event and nobody even cared. People are like, oh yeah, Wilder was a co-main event though. Yeah, but Joshua was the main event and he's considered the most popular boxer of this era, the cash cow, the big name that everybody needs. Oh, Wilder needs him, everything else. And he just told you that he ducked Wilder. He ducked Wilder. So Tyson Fury got more balls than Anthony Joshua. And he has more balls than Eddie Hearn. So Bob Arum, Frank Warren have more balls than Eddie Hearn and Joshua. They'll put him in a ring with Wilder. And Wilder's so trash and everything else, so you talk down on the guy all the time. Put him in a ring with that trash Anthony Joshua you got. Put him in a ring with that guy. Man, please, Deontay. Man, you can't say nothing about Anthony Joshua's career, and nobody can even argue with that. Nobody. Oh, somebody in chat. My dog. My fault. Everybody in chat. What's going on? Shout out to Jordan Smith and Pancho Villa. Yeah, he lost against Andy. Shout out to Pancho Villa, my dog. He lost to Andy. Andy put in work against him, and I don't know why Andy Ruiz don't get credit for that. And to be honest with you, I thought Andrew Ruiz was whooping him in the second fight. If you go back and look, everybody, and then people are talking about, man, Devin Haney came out. He was on the back foot, like Eddie Hearn said the last fight. Oh, Devin Haney he had a terrible performance against Ramirez. Anthony Joshua fought the same way against Andrew Ruiz in the second fight. He was on the back foot after getting knocked out. You know how many times I've seen dudes on the back foot recently without after getting knocked out? Or being careful. I know Munguia was careful in his last fight. He was technical in breaking dude down. I mean, it was a great fight to me. Very technical. But he was careful though. He wasn't finna rush in there like he did last time, which was smart. Duh. You got fans out here, man. Why don't you just rush in and try to knock yourself out? But yeah, Andrew Ruiz didn't even get credit for that though. So when people try to make it seem like, oh well, if you fight Anthony Joshua and beat him, you're gonna get credit. Andrew Ruiz is proof, because I don't know if people know it or not. Wilder wanted to fight Andrew Ruiz. He wanted to fight Andrew Ruiz that's what should have happened. But you know what? That's why I give PBC credit to that, because if that fight should have happened, instead of wasting their time going back with Fury 2 more times to get cheated, because Wilder should have won that first fight. And Andrew Ruiz was already the man. He had a good trainer. He should have went straight into that other fight with Wilder. He would have still been, you know what I'm saying? They would have still had the ball rolling. That's why, and I'm gonna say something too. That's why I kind of agree with them on that size of the street stuff. The way Eddie Hearn's talking, man, he validating everything they saying, bro. I can't even lie to you. Everything that PBC and everybody else has been saying, he's validating it. Then they want to look at Andrew Ruiz crazy when he said, oh, let's get a rematch. Let's get a third fight. They looked at Andrew Ruiz like, oh, no, we ain't finna waste our time. Bro, you ain't do nothing in the second fight. They had like Andrew Ruiz was getting destroyed the second fight. No, he wasn't. He was chasing in that fight. Yeah, it should have been Andrew Ruiz versus Wilder, bro. It should have been, man. It should have been. It should have been, man. Andrew Ruiz had already just fought Joseph Parker before. I mean, if you look at it, those guys were, and then Andrew Ruiz is the only guy who fought Luis Ortiz. They make every excuse why they didn't fight him. Then Joshua fights Jermaine Franklin, who should be active right now. I think he's a free agent, but Jermaine Franklin should be active right now. But he went 12 rounds. Anthony Joshua went 12 rounds with Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin should be the guy right now. But then Eddie Hearn to tell you, oh well, Wilder wouldn't have an easy time with Anthony Joshua, but he can go 12 with Jermaine Franklin and look good. He didn't look good in that fight. He went 12 with him. He struggled. He didn't look good. Even when he knocked out Helenius, he was walking through the crowd and everything. He said, fam, Andy shot the world. The only problem I have with Andy is ready to get high to stay in the gym. Yeah, that's facts. That's why when he left Canelo, I was like, what? Because I was understanding when Ryan Garcia left Canelo, but when When Andy Ruiz left Canelo, I was like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you leaving Canelo Alvarez and you left Manny Robles? And Pancho, from what I heard, he's back with his old trainer now. Manny Robles, I think. Which should have been done before. I don't know if it was a thing where he didn't want to share the bag. I don't know what it was. But the fact that he said, but the trainer has reportedly been brought back into Andy Ruiz camp. Yeah. Yep, Manny Robles is back training with him. Let me see if I can get a picture of him. Yeah, Manny Robles a beast. Let me see if I can pull this up. But yeah, he's a problem. This is the guy he's back training with. Where's the picture? Yeah, Andy Ruiz back training with Manny Robles. Which he should have never left, but you know, it is what it is. But but what I've seen in the boxing game recently, man, these guys, we've let a whole era of boxing go by. People don't want to tell the truth. They want to push certain narratives. Chris Arreola has what is his resume? He was a beast. And they act like they didn't want to give him dates later on in his career. Then he dropped Andrew Ruiz too. Even a guy like Chris Arreola. Look how many fights Chris Arreola had after he Chris Arreola, that's crazy, bro. Y'all want to hear something? That's how you know people. That's how you know they wanted Chris Arreola up out of there. That's crazy. Chris Arreola threw 1,125 punches in a 12-round heavyweight fight. The most by a heavyweight in 34-year history of CompuBox. And people will be like, man, you know, those heavyweights, Joshua would have got destroyed over there. If Joshua would have fought Chris Arreola when he was in his prime, at a certain point, it would have been some issues. I ain't even gonna lie. Like they can fool the fans, but they can't fool me. It's a lot of Mexicans heavyweights. These dudes ain't want no problems with, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. It's a lot of Mexican heavyweights, California heavyweights. They wanted no problem with. Chris Arreola threw 1,000 punches, over 1,000 punches in a heavyweight fight and lost. That's how you know he got robbed. And and to be honest with you, Adam, he lost against Kornacki, and Kornacki ain't looked the same since that fight. Adam Kornacki ain't looked the same since that fight. I don't know how you throw 1,000 punches and lose in a heavyweight fight. Yeah, Kornacki ain't looked the same since that fight, bro. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Kornacki has lost every fight since that fight. That's how you know he wasn't supposed to win that fight. Adam Kornacki took 1,000 punches from Chris Arreola. I might have to do a video on that. He took 1,000 punches from Chris Arreola, and he lost every fight since then. He lost to Helenius twice. Then he lost to a guy after that, another guy after that. Then he just got knocked out in Poland in the first round. Dang. Bro was fighting out here for a minute too, though. He was fighting out 2015. Fought Charles Martin. Fought a couple guys, Gerald Washington. But when he got to Chris Arreola, that's when it was all over. Yeah, that's wild. That's insane, man. That is insane. So when people always say, "Oh, well, American heavyweights is trash. They're finished." Joshua got beat by Andrew Ruiz, didn't he? Why Andrew Ruiz don't get the credit he deserves for that win over Joshua? Why everybody act like that was a fluke or something like that? Like Joshua went out the second fight and knocked him out. If I go to the comfy box, let me go to the comfy box of that second fight. But dude got squished like a bug, man, and people just looking at it like, all right, so in the rematch, Joshua threw 65. What is that? Hold on. How many punches he threw? So he landed 65 jabs and he landed a total of 100 punches out of 373. And Andrew Ruiz landed 60 out of 261 and mostly power punches. Anthony Joshua was averaging 23 punches per round. And Andrew Ruiz landed just 5 punches per round while throwing 22 per round. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so the activity is what really they were looking at in that fight. But let me see. Later in the fight, I don't know, man. You look at the last couple of rounds when it comes to these power punches. Like in the 8th round, Andrew Ruiz landed 11 power punches on Joshua, and Joshua only landed 3. See, everything Joshua was winning with was jabs. He jabbed twice in the 11th round. Jabbed 4 times. This is how many times he landed. 7 times in 10th, 9 and 5th. He's throwing more jabs. He wasn't throwing really no power punches. He didn't want that. He didn't want that type of fight. He wanted to get on the outside and box. Oh, you was watching Andrew Ruiz against Joshua with your dad? Yeah, that was a classic, bro. That fight was like during the. I don't know why I feel like that fight was during the day, but it probably wasn't. No, that fight was during the day, wasn't it? The first one. The second one was probably still during the day. But yeah, when I look at this guy's resume, I'm like, hold on, bro. This guy's really not that good, man. He's really not. To be honest with you, Andrew Ruiz should be looked at the same way Joshua is. I'm looking at the resume. I'm just okay. He's getting credit for Charles Martin. Getting more credit for American heavyweights than anything. Eric Molina is on here. Charles Martin. Then you ran into Andrew Ruiz and got smoked. Then he ran into another American and got smoked again. This dude can't do well against Americans, man. Only American he did well against is Charles Martin, Kevin Johnson, who has 22 losses. They obviously turned him into a gatekeeper, but Kevin Johnson, he just went 12 rounds with Cavill recently. And Zhang just got stopped. So that lets you know what kind of American heavyweights. But yeah, this whole theory, like, man, we don't got no heavyweights in America. That's cap, bro. Oh yeah, RP the Pop, man. RP definitely the Pops, man. Definitely. Yeah, RP the Pops, bro. Definitely. That was a classic fight. Good memory, man. Man, that was a classic fight. I know y'all had a blast that day, bro. Oh man. I don't know. Was that the best fight we seen in the last? I don't know, Pancho. Was that the best fight we seen since then? Joshua Ruiz? That's a real question. Is that the best fight we seen in the last 7 years? I mean, those dudes was getting knockdowns early, late, big punches throughout the whole fight. I don't know, man. That was a classic fight. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss Anthony Joshua fighting America, but that Ruiz fight with him, that was a good fight. But you can tell he went away from that style though. After he fought Ruiz, he didn't really deal with too many guys. He didn't fight. Joshua hasn't fought that many American heavyweights. He hasn't fought that many American heavyweights. The guy, what's the other guy's name? Yeah, he hasn't fought a lot of people. Michael Hunter's a guy he hasn't fought. Yeah, I'm not impressed by this resume like that, bro. Just being honest with you. That Ngannou win, it looks bad because that's probably the best one you got recently. Because Wilder knocked out Helenius faster, knocked him out in like one round. Adewale, I mean, okay, you got him up out of there, but that was his sparring partner. Just like when Wilder didn't get credit for knocking out his sparring partner. So, Ngannou, yeah, that's about it, bro. Ngannou, Pulev. I thought he looked bad in that Jermaine Franklin fight. Jermaine Franklin exposed him in that fight. Being real. So yeah, I think so too, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was like during the day. It was an early fight. Yeah, that might be the best fight I've seen since. I mean, as far as Wilder and Fury, some good fights. Just off top of the dome, that's definitely top 5. No question about it. That fight, T.O. versus Kambosos, I put that top 5. Yeah, that's definitely up there. I mean, those guys had when Andrew Ruiz got knocked down, I was like, whoa, because I had Ruiz winning, and I was like, man, this dude finna lose. And then Ruiz dropped Joshua twice in the 3rd round. I was like, whoa, because I was thinking by then, okay, Ruiz is still hurt, but man, put them hands on the guy. Now people gonna sit up here and try to make it seem like they know. Now we have fans out here that are comparing. They're saying that losing to Joseph Parker is like going 12 rounds with Joseph Parker is worse than getting knocked out by Andrew Ruiz. They think that going the distance with a cruiserweight twice isn't worse than it's worse than losing to Andrew Ruiz. So it's a lot of things. That's why I'm looking at this guy's resume. I'm like, hold on, bro. And to be honest with you, Pancho, I don't even think Andy even getting the respect like that he deserved, because the only fight they really try to force on him recently is Wilder. And then they acting like the money went there. As far as on Andy's side, they could have paid whatever money that was available if it was there. But yeah, Wilder was ready to set that fight up. Oh yeah, I know that was wow. Oh, so it was night. I don't know why I'm thinking it was daytime, man. I don't know why. Man, that's crazy. That is insane, man. Yeah, Mexico got that free boxing channel, and they got some good fights that come on out there too. Yeah, they definitely got some good fights that come on those channels. That's why I'm like, man, we got to put some more fights together, bro. Hopefully they do that soon. Pacheco, his little brother's a heavyweight. He might be like Areola Part 2. Kind of built like him, same size as Areola. Might be another Areola, man, but that guy was the real deal. He gets overlooked way too much. Way too much. But from what I seen in boxing, man, yeah, it's crazy that Andrew Ruiz get overlooked like that. Like he's just, but they'll make excuses for guys like McCauley and all these other guys. Now, Andrew Ruiz goes out there, knocks out Joshua, goes 12 rounds with him the next fight. They don't call him a boogeyman. And that was the only loss as far as him and Joseph Parker. That was the only losses that he had up until that point. And then, he had that draw recently. I don't know why I keep thinking that's a loss. It was a loss in my mind, but it wasn't super bad because he went the distance and uh he was super out of shape, bro. Andrew Ruiz coming in 300 pounds. Oh, who came in 305? Oh, he came in 274. I'm tripping. It looked like he was 300 pounds though. I know against Joshua in the second fight, they said Ruiz was oh yeah, man, Pop's a real one, bro. Pop's one of them guys that made boxing the way it is right now. As far as you know, boxing being on the level it's on right now. And people are trying to destroy it. So yeah, people like him made boxing popular, man. Yeah, they do got some fire fights, man. It's crazy now because they don't use them on Telemundo and Deportes like they used to. They kind of moving it around and putting it on certain channels out there. It's still free, but some of these countries now you got to be out in the country to actually like see the fights. I don't know, it's weird. See some African fights recently where you got to actually be in Africa and hit your location button to show that you're in Africa to see the fight. It's crazy. Like you might have to get a VPN that says South Africa or something to see a South African fight. I hope they don't move like that soon because it's gonna be hard to see everybody fight locally, but unless you're local, but yeah, man. Yeah, man. I seen recently they had some fights. I don't know if it was on UFC Fight Pass. It was a fight card they had in Mexico. Man, that fight card was on the same night as I don't know. I don't think it was Boots. It was somebody. Not Boots fight, but it was like the card. Boots card. It was somebody's card. And I was like, man, this card is hanging with the other card. It might have been Keyshawn Davis fight. But I was like, man, this fight card is hanging. But yeah, people want to really see some exciting boxing. They'll go watch these Mexican channels that have the boxing on every week. Because plenty of these guys is pro right now, like Rafael Espinoza. He was fighting on there way before he got the ESPN. Espinoza didn't get the ESPN till he was like 29, 30. So this dude was in Mexico the whole time, smashing everything out there. And to be honest with you, the fights out there in Mexico for him was tougher than what he's been going through right now. That's why I said, man, once they start going through the talent like they doing now, yeah, Espinoza first fight was in America was 2023. Really 2024 because it was December 2023. So he really been fighting in America since 2024. And yeah, that's wild. Yeah, he been fighting in America since 2024, which is crazy. Yeah, so it's a lot of talent out there. I was like, bro, this dude, I'm telling you, when I seen Espinoza, bro, I think I still got the prediction up. When I seen him fight, and I was studying for the fight between him and Rovicio Ramirez, I was like, man, this dude ain't had a fight in America yet, but this dude looks like a beast. I was like, this dude can jab, move. This dude is a complete boxer. I'm like, man, I want to pick this guy. I was like, bro, I want to pick this guy so bad, bro. I just don't know nothing about him. This dude look like a beast. And at the last minute, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go with Rovici. I was like, they probably just gonna lean towards him, but I said, man, this dude like a beast though, man. I want to pick this guy. Man, Espinoza went out there and beat him down, then stopped in the second fight. People saying elbows and everything else. Well, he wasn't elbowing Vasquez his last fight. And we know Edward Vasquez is a beast. Edward Vasquez is a beast. Dude is a 130, and Espinoza made quick work of him. And he's been in the ring with a lot of people. Cordina, Ray Ford. Yeah, DeGrassi, he's been in the ring with a lot of guys. Yeah, he been in there with Lopez. So, yeah, so for Espinoza to do that to him, it's like, whoa. This dude's a problem. But now I'm seeing in boxing, man, I'm just like, what is going on with heavyweight division? It's almost like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, as far as everything else in boxing, like the other weight classes, I can understand what people say about PBC dragging their feet or whatever. But when it comes to the heavyweight division, they have shown that they were willing to work with anybody. That's the thing that kind of irritates me. It's kind of like I'm not playing both sides. I'm just telling the truth. By the time Andrew Ruiz got this belt in that Joshua fight, it seemed like the only thing the boxing industry was doing was waiting until they could find out when to get the belt from him. Even with the performance in the second fight, most people would think, okay, we need to go ahead with a rematch in this fight, a third fight. Now, out of all the trilogies we've seen from Triple G, Bitterbill, Bivol recently, the one trilogy you can make sense of why they're fighting, even Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, I don't know how, because she done already lost twice. They fighting for third time. Out of all the trilogies that should have happened, it should have been Andrew Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. They did not want this trilogy to happen between those guys, which is a shame, because it could have been actually a good trilogy. Joshua possibly could have got better without trying to go the route he did. But, the way I look at it is, hey, man, your promoter's job is to make sure your career goes a certain way and goes well. He's also in charge of making sure you get better. Who's to say that these promoters are making sure these boxers are getting better? I don't think these boxers are getting better dealing with some of these promoters. I just don't think so. Yeah, I don't think these guys are getting better. If they were, we would see it on display. But to have, I can't believe Chris Arreola sat on the thing like on the fence like this. I'm gonna have to say something about this. This is crazy. Chris Arreola sat down like this. This is insane. This dude sat down 2 years from 16 to 18, 2 years from 19 to 21, then 21 to 23. Yeah, this is crazy, bro. This lets you know right here, man, they are not valuing the heavyweights like that. This guy should be active right now. Well, he's older now, but he's still putting in work though. Yeah, this is crazy. They got Torres up there, but they don't have most of the other guys. Yeah, it's not really big names. I'm telling you, they would have just fought each other because this is a couple of heavyweights. I think one guy would drop Zhang or something. I think one of these guys had dropped Zhang. No, Jerry Forrest had tied with Zhang in a draw. He got a draw with Zhang. If he had a draw with Zhang, that means he was beating Zhang up. Usually they'll just do a unanimous to keep it pushing. If he had a draw, that means he was whooping on him. But yeah, man, we gotta have some more. We got a couple of Mexican heavyweights coming out, but I don't know if they're gonna be like Ruiz and Arreola. That's gonna be a tough task. But yeah, Luis Ortiz is still out there, bro. Didn't Ortiz? Yeah, Luis Ortiz was out there. I know Andrew Ruiz dropped Luis Ortiz, didn't he? Yeah, he dropped him twice. No, he dropped him 3 times. And still finished the fight though. Man, that guy's tough. And Ruiz came in 268. Last fight he was 275. And let me peep something out too. What has the weights been for Andrew Ruiz over the years? This is crazy. Andrew Ruiz went from 274. Oh man, that's crazy. No wonder people said as far as Andrew Ruiz weight, that second fight against Joshua, he added 15 pounds. But that was like the same thing Fury did though. Fury did that against Wilder. He won the second two fights. The second and third fight. Then he did against Usyk and lost two fights. One fight. I mean, he did it in the second fight. He didn't do it the first fight. Yeah, Ruiz weight is all over the place though. 250 against Parker, 260, 252, 262, 268, 283 with Joshua, 256 with Areola. That's what he needed to be. He got dropped in that fight, but he won. Then he came with 268 against Luis Ortiz. Yeah, his weight is all over the place, man. He has to be able to get that in order. I didn't think it was such a big deal against Joshua because Joshua didn't have a dominating performance. It has played a role, but he only has 2 losses though. He has a draw against Jarrell Miller. If you look at his resume, it's pretty tough. He has Joseph Parker, Devin Vargas, Kevin Johnson. And Demetrenko ain't fought in a minute. Last time Demetrenko fought was against Tony Yoka. He fought him, uh, Joshua twice, Areola, Luis Ortiz, Jarrell Miller. This is big time fights right here. I'm not gonna lie. If Fury had Miller, Ortiz, Areola, Joshua twice on his resume, Parker, yeah, you could argue that Andy Ruiz is taking probably tougher fights recently than a lot of these other heavyweights. Maybe even Joshua and Fury. The man has fought Jarrell Miller, Luis Ortiz, Chris Arreola, who threw the most punches in heavyweight history. Uh, Anthony Joshua twice. Yeah, Joseph Parker. Yeah. This is a positive for Andrew Ruiz to have to have Joshua on his resume. For Joshua to be on Andrew Ruiz resume or have him on his resume as a knockout loss, that's bad for him. I don't know if anybody, and this is the crazy part. People seen Andrew Ruiz knock out Anthony Joshua and they still believed in him. So don't try to make it seem like it's about skills and everything else. You know what I'm saying? They try to make it about skills and everything else, but nah. Don't try to make it about skills. That's definitely not the case. Yeah, a knockout loss is definitely not a badge of honor. I don't know how people just overlook that. I can't really take people serious when it comes to heavyweights and stuff like that. We got a heavyweight right now who's undefeated and has a loss of fight, and people aren't looking to him to fight Usyk right now. They want Usyk to fight a guy who already lost, who he already beat. Ain't this crazy as a boxing era where people are so infatuated with big names that they want to have rematches of guys who already got stopped? That's like me saying that Zane and Wilder should fight again. What would be the purpose of that if he got stopped? I mean, obviously they don't want to see, and Wilder did better than Joshua did against Dubois. Man got knocked down 4 times in 5 rounds. And that's really embarrassing on the referee because it's like, bro, why you didn't stop the fight? But yeah, man, as when I talk about American heavyweights, Andrew Ruiz is a person that get overlooked. Chris Arreola throwing the most punches in heavyweight history and fighting only one or two times every 2 years. It's bad. But you got other people like Joseph Parker that fought 4 or 5 times in 2023. But a guy like Chris Arreola, and then we say, oh, we need American fighters. American heavyweights haven't had a chance to be active like a lot of these other guys. They have not had a chance to be active. That's just a fact. They have not had a chance to be active. Andrew Ruiz, ever since he beat Joshua, they feel like they can't give him a fight in certain situations. And people are saying, oh, well, he's asking for too much money. Yeah, because he wanted to fight Wilder. He know that when you fight Wilder, you get the bag. Last time I checked, Joshua did the same thing. And the way Andrew Ruiz, the way the heavyweights in America is being moved, yeah, Andrew Ruiz did the right thing. Go for the most money because you see right now, they're going to try to get Joshua to fight Fury after getting stopped in the 5th round. No other boxer in America would ever be able to go through stuff like Anthony Joshua did and be able to have a mega fight with no criticism or anything. Like the history is really trying to show that this dude never got knocked out by Ruiz. They really trying to dog walk that narrative to death. Eddie Hearn and all the rest of these guys. They trying to make it seem like what Wilder has done. Oh man, he's just so bad. What losses he got that's worse than what Andrew Ruiz, Usyk, cruiserweight, and what losses are that? Then people talking about, oh, Inoue. Man, that's not finna give Inoue or nobody credit for losing or winning. Dudes go out there and go 12 rounds with Joseph Parker. They talking about they need to retire. You call yourself a boxing fan? No, sir. Andrew Ruiz go 12 rounds with Anthony Joshua, and then everybody talking about how fat he is. Man, ain't nobody trying to hear that. They got criticism for all kind of people after they lose. And then we talking about going 12 rounds now. Now, mind you, I'm talking about Andrew Ruiz going 12 rounds with Joshua. Everybody knew how they was talking after that fight. Andrew Ruiz went 12 rounds with Joshua, and they act like he blew his whole career. And the man, I appreciate that, Vic J. What's going on, dog? Appreciate my dog Vic J for coming through, man. They had like Andrew Ruiz, they had like he was supposed to be there. Like, man, you were supposed to knock out Joshua. And then the second fight, you were supposed to knock out Joshua again. Come on, man. Then the boxing game just gonna forget all this. Like, man, don't even pay attention to Joshua getting knocked out by Andrew Ruiz. You know, if Wilder would have did that, we would have gave him a Usyk fight right after that. If Joshua would have got, if Wilder would have got knocked out by Andrew Ruiz, we would have gave him 2 Usyk fights and put him in the ring with Ngannou. I'm just trying to figure out what these dudes did for the sport of boxing to where we need to hit pause and figure out what they got going on in the heavyweight division. Because these is narratives that getting pushed at this point. And I'm going to be real with you. And how do I say this? The only promoters I'm actually interested in is the new guys. Any of the new promoters that's in boxing, I'll pay attention to those guys. Anybody who's in boxing before 2020 or whatever, most likely not going to trust you. Too many narratives getting pushed. It's too much talent. It's too many guys who have talent that's not even fighting. They only have certain guys fighting. Then you have the elite heavyweights that don't even have a good resume. They get with Turki Al-Sheikh. They still having domestic fights. Dudes is having rematches in domestic fights. So you wait until you get in front of Turki Al-Sheikh, who can make any fight in boxing, and you want to make domestic fights and you want to make rematches. And you wondering why Turki Al-Sheikh is like, oh, okay, let me move away from these group of people I've been dealing with. Let me focus on other fighters. Yeah, because he losing interest as well. He might be a guy who's, involved in the sport of boxing, but as a human being, he's going to lose interest as well. All this Joshua hype, he sees it as well, man. Turki Al-Sheikh sitting back right now. He's seeing Joshua get knocked out by Dubois. And he sees Eddie Hearn come out and says, yeah, man, Wilder need to do better if he gonna want the fans. So Eddie Hearn wants Wilder to go out here and get a spectacular knockout. He said if he keeps winning, maybe people can talk about the Joshua fight again. Is this dude on drugs? Literally. This dude said if Wilder keeps winning, maybe people can talk about the Joshua fight again. This dude, he's literally saying, I need y'all to talk about Wilder so I can make money off of him again. Because he hasn't. The only way he's made his money is by aligning himself with Wilder, a fight that never happened. Anthony Joshua has been named with Tyson Fury and Wilder for 10 years and hasn't produced anything for the sport of boxing. Wilder has gave you 3 Tyson Fury fights after he retired and got him off the couch. And I bet you if Anthony Joshua gets Tyson Fury off the couch, like Deontay Wilder did, because he wasn't scared to fight Tyson Fury like the rest of those guys. And he doesn't even have a relationship with Tyson Fury. Didn't know the guy like that. Hey man, I'm trying to fight you. What's up? Let's get it together. Then you go out there and you got referees counting to 15 and everything else. Bro, ain't nobody got time for that. The sport of heavyweight boxing is not, it's already been baby, bro. It's been really it's an imagination. It's science fiction. These dudes' resumes ain't that good. Andrew Ruiz got a better resume probably than Joshua right now. This dude fought Jarrell Miller, Joshua, Joseph Parker. I mean, Luis Ortiz, Chris Arreola. And you fighting Helenius. All these other people. Dude ain't even fighting the best. He ain't even fighting the best Americans. He fighting Andrew Ruiz getting knocked out. But people are like, yeah. Think about this. This man came to America, got knocked out by Andrew Ruiz. And you got fans out here like, yeah, man, he'll beat Wilder. How? How do you believe that? He doesn't have a chin like that. He shows that if he gets touched on the chin, he's not like that. And we ain't talking about with Wilder, it was being overwhelmed by weight and everything else. People felt like Tyson Fury leaning on Wilder, that was like Fury had power and stuff like that. Nah, he was leaning like he tried to do against Usyk. That's cowardly boxing. Anybody who gave that cowardly boxing credit they're not a real boxing fan. That's why they're not celebrating that stuff right now. He leaned on the guy. Referees counting slow, looking around and looking at the sky. Don't know what's going on. Guys are closing their eyes. Man, if that was MMA, you know what's crazy about boxing? This is why boxing is going to be worse than MMA over the years. If Wilder would have knocked out Tyson Fury in MMA like that, they would have called a fight. I don't know if anybody knows it or not. If he would have got knocked out like that in MMA, they would have called a fight. He said Andrew Ruiz. He said Andrew Ruiz was on top of the world for a second, but can't handle it. Not everybody can handle that success. Yeah, that's a fact. Did you see they have Tyson Fury ranked number 1? Yeah, they gonna do that. Don't nobody want to see bro though. To be honest with you, they gonna rank certain guys in certain positions. Vic J, but he ain't in a position where he needs to be celebrated. Bro got walked down by Cruz. He had 1 hour to fight Usyk. Him and Joshua had 1 hour to knock out. Cause each fight is 36 minutes. Those guys had 1 hour and 12 minutes to knock out Alexander Usyk and couldn't do it. Joshua had 1 hour to stop Ruiz, couldn't do it. So these dudes really ain't got no power like that. I ain't gonna cap. They ain't got no power like that. If you have 1 hour in the ring with Andrew Ruiz, you can't get him up out of there. Oh, okay. You in the ring with Usyk for 1 hour, you can't get him up out of there? And he's a cruiserweight. What's going on? So I'm in my mind, I'm like, bro, people find the reasons why Wilder shouldn't be in the ring 1 hour with Usyk to see if he can knock him out? How is a guy that got stopped by Andrew Ruiz going to be able to go in there and stop a Usyk? They don't look at stuff like that though. They'll be looking at Wilder's resume. Oh man, look, Wilder lost to Zhang, Parker, and Parker was a tune-up. Dude ain't fought in a year. And he came and fought Parker on 3 or 4 weeks notice. A couple of weeks notice he fought the guy. And then lost to Tyson Fury, who obviously we know haven't looked the same since he fought Wilder. That's something that's not talked about. So yeah, I think two guys, Joshua versus Fury is the only fight you can have because those guys been looking bad since Turki Al Sheikh been over there. That's why I had that video up yesterday. A lot of these guys been looking bad since they've been over there with Turki Al Sheikh. I don't know if it's the drug testing or what, but guys been looking horrible. I mean, Fury has looked bad in 3 straight fights. 3 straight fights against Ngannou, Usyk, and Usyk again, and retired after the fight. Joshua had the Ngannou fight. Yeah, but the Dubois fight was bad. And he lost in Saudi. Well, he won in Saudi against Andrew Ruiz. But he only landed 100 punches. And threw 300 punches. And threw more jabs than he threw power punches. But people will get out here and be like, man, Devin Haney. Anthony Joshua fought the same way Devin Haney did against Jose Ramirez. But guess what Eddie Hearn says? Oh, man, that's trash, man. That's horrible. This dude's selling wolf tickets. He is not a good promoter, man. I do not like this guy anymore. I do not like Eddie Hearn no more. Being real with you. I'm being real with you. It's a difference, bro. When you do stuff like that, okay, we expect to fight out of it. It's been 10 years of you doing this Wilder stuff, bro. It's over with. Wilder went over there and put a fight together with them. He was on Team Hearn and everything else. Man, dudes is tired of putting their pride to the side for these cowards in boxing. Eddie Hearn ain't contributing to nothing in boxing. He making sure he's straight. That's it. He making sure he good and his fighters good. And his country good. But allegedly. But everything else, nah, man. Ain't nobody rolling with that no more. Wilder gotta go do something for a guy who just gave Dubois his easiest win. That was Daniel Dubois' easiest win in his career, man. That was the easiest win Daniel Dubois has ever had. That was the easiest win Dubois ever had. Because you got to realize he had Joshua hurt since the first round. He's had him hurt since the first round. It was guys that Dubois hurt in the first round just like that, and they stopped the fight. They wanted Joshua to win so bad, they let the man get knocked down in the first round, third round, fourth round, fifth round. Ain't no way Wilder would got knocked down that many times, and the ref and everybody, the commentary would have been like, yeah, he's still in it. He's still in it. He's still going. If y'all notice, I want y'all to go back and look at when Wilder get knocked down, how fast they be counting. Let's see. I want y'all to see if they be looking around and see if anybody's around. They count fast. Ain't no Mississippi 1, none of that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They count like that. Look at when he gets dropped. They be already at 5 by the time he gets straight up. They already at 5. And then people like, oh, man, the Tyson Fury count, man, it was just, yeah, okay. But I'm going to tell you something. Cutting corners in boxing, they don't do nothing. Cutting corners in boxing get you in front of Usyk and you do nothing. You get walked down. You get embarrassed. You get walked down by a cruiserweight. Then people realize, oh, the best win you did have in your career was against a guy who weighs less than a cruiserweight. So Usyk is a cruiserweight, but he weighs more than Wilder. And you couldn't get past that guy. So the best win you got is a guy that's 200 pounds and you're 300 pounds. So you weight bullet yourself into success. And then the one time the Fury get in the ring with a guy who's close to his weight, Ngannou, he drops him. And he's not even a real boxer. Yeah, Wilder gonna fight in June. I think it's like towards the end of June. Let me see what the date is up here. June 27th. He's going to take on Terrell Anthony Herndon, who's 24-5 with 15 knockouts. This guy's 24-5 with 15 knockouts. 24-5 with 15 knockouts. But they'll come out here and say, "Oh man, why is he fighting a guy who's trash like that?" But Teofimo can fight a guy with 9 losses. But Munguia can get knocked out by a guy with 4 knockouts. A 160 at 168. Yeah, I see the double standards is going on. It's catching up though. Cause bro, you can't fake promotion, man. You can't fake love nobody. Most of the boxing right now is built off hate. They got more hate for a fighter they don't like than they have love for their favorite fighter. See, I judge people off when their favorite fighter loses. What your reaction is. And what I've noticed is people got a lot of catching up to do if they want to compare themselves to America. Because when American fighters lose, they still get support. So if all these countries they want to compare themselves to America and this, America that, and okay, you're gonna have to start supporting your fighters after they lose a fight. Before you start trying to argue with us and compare fighters and everything else. Joshua lost to Dubois, everybody talking about he need to retire. That's how bad the fight was. His performance. Wilder goes 12 rounds with Joseph Parker, they talking about he needs to retire. Tyson Fury gets knocked down by Ngannou, walked down by Usyk. He didn't even look like a real person in the last fight. The dude didn't even run around and do none of his antics. I don't like front runners. Tyson Fury showed me the last fight he's a front runner. The dude took his first loss and he didn't even want to talk leading up to the second fight. He didn't even talk during the media workouts. He didn't even throw punches during the media workouts. So you got beat so bad by a cruiserweight. A 12-round fight messed your head up so bad. You didn't got dropped by Wilder multiple times in all kind of fights that you and him had. But you get to a fight with Usyk and you go the distance, and then all of a sudden, yeah, man, I just can't think straight, man. I need to focus now. You need to focus now. That let y'all know, man, it's persona. This dude's been getting over with that weight bullying stuff. That's why when people said weight bully last year, it was actually, if you're in combat sports, which a lot of these people aren't, whether it's MMA or boxing, because both of them have punching in it. When you weigh in and stuff like that, you're weighing in based off of what other people are weighing in at. If somebody else is 185 and they fighting at 154 or something like that, they've already set the standard. So, hey, everybody at this weight class 180. So you can make the mistake of walking in the ring at your natural weight. Oh, I weigh 140, and you in the ring with somebody 180. You can get your head knocked off. And that's what happened with a lot of fighters. That's why fighters like, oh man, let me go down and weight. Yeah, you need to go down and weight. You ain't Floyd. Your technique ain't like that. So you might have to go down and wait. He said, yeah, Moses Thomas fighting an ex-football player. I heard the dude look good though. I heard the guy looks good, man. I'm gonna check him out. I think the fight that's supposed to come on soon. Gotta hop up off here. I know Maxie Hughes fighting today. Yeah, that fight might be on in a minute. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go live for it in a minute. He said Turkey made a mistake. He should have never gave Wilder Parker with his first fight back with at the. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. When you look at that card, it was like Daniel Dubois and Wilder. They was putting them in a position because those were the only fights that was worth watching that day. If everybody forgets, they had Caviel fight early on their card. Then they had Frank Sanchez, I want to say, but then they had Wilder, Parker, and yeah, it should have did that. Yeah, after that Helenius fight, he was out a year. Then the worst part about that Vic J, he only had a couple of weeks. But he gonna come back stronger though. Man had some injuries he didn't came back from. He gonna come back stronger. The thing about Wilder is he can fix what he got going on. These other guys, they can't fix it. They ain't never had the confidence like that. Tyson Fury best win is a guy who's 200 pounds, and ever since then, when he fights a guy who's the same size, he looks regular. Dude's a weight bully. Oh, Devin and Ryan was actually supposed to be the first fight. That's why the commercial was looking like that on DAZN. But Ryan was not confident in taking that fight with Devin Haney first when he got back. So what Ryan wanted to do was he wanted to do a tune-up. So they wanted to go with Isaac Cruz. That's why Ryan weighs 147, but he still hasn't fought on 147 yet. Ryan Garcia's cooked. I think his career is over. Ryan Garcia has been fighting 135s and 140s his whole career. Well, actually, he's been fighting 135s his whole career. Even Ryan Garcia is 147. He's still fighting a former 135. You know what I'm saying? Dude is trash, bro. And I knew this already. That's why all my old videos gonna hit like that. We already know, but these people out here, like I'm seeing comment sections right now, bro. A lot of these fans do not appreciate a lot of these guys still lying about these PEDs. I'm talking about big channels. They don't appreciate this. They don't appreciate it. They see a lot of these the media and these algorithms is pro PED in boxing. These algorithms trying to normalize PEDs. What I think about Boychuk last weekend. Oh, Boychuk looked trash. He looked trash. I think he lost the fight. I told people recently when they was talking about Terrence Crawford need to be at 154. I told everybody 154. Everybody's at 154 has already gotten embarrassed before, or close to being embarrassed, or they have some kind of flaws that's obvious. And Boychuk was one of them. I thought he lost the fight. He got dropped. Boychuk, people say that wasn't a knockdown. It was a soft punch. First of all, it took Boychuk a long time to even get up from that. Virgil Ortiz, his glove barely hit the ground. They considered that a knockdown. That's why I said, bro, it ain't even at this point. And the only reason they did that because they feel like Boychuk got robbed against Virgil Ortiz, so they ain't want to rob him. So they went ahead and gave it to him. But they weren't gonna try to look out for Fox anyways. But 154, I think Virgil Ortiz smokes all of them at this point. Bakaram as well, he's up there. You know, you still got Fundora, who I like, Tim Tszyu, who's a beast, who I like. They're still in the mix. But I like Virgil Ortiz right now. What he's doing. I've always liked Virgil Ortiz. He's just the youngest guy at 154. He's been there the shortest time, so it's kind of hard to say a guy who just went to 54 is, the biggest threat, especially at 54. You know what I'm saying? 54 is still 54. Yeah, some told me not to watch that fight, Vic. Some told me not to watch that fight. Nah. I tried to watch the fight. Something happened. Nah, I think I was Nah, I tried to watch that fight. Something happened. I tried to watch that fight. Nah, I was mad at the UFC. That's what it was. Man, UFC had a dude grab a dude's shoulder, bro. Over the weekend, UFC had a dude who was like, he was laying on top of the guy. He grabbed the guy's shoulder, and the guy just laid back, bro. You ever had somebody grab his shoulder like, "Hey, come here," or "Wait, hold on, don't go nowhere." The dude grabbed his shoulder like that, and the guy just fell back. Oh, I'm like, bro, come on, man. Somebody got some payola in that fight. Yeah, 2 a.m. is crazy, bro. I can't believe they waited that long to show the fight. Yeah, UFC Fight Pass, bro. Hey, Vic, they be tripping, bro. 2 a.m. I've seen a 2 a.m. fight, but it was in Mexico. I don't know if they had. I think they had the same time zone probably, but UFC Fight Pass, they do that, man. They'll go to about 2 a.m. Out there, and I guess they was in Cali. It's only like 11, 10 or 11, so yeah, they pushing it on that one. But I think because UFC was last week and they had some other stuff, they were like, we're just gonna push it further out. But they pushed it too far out though. Yeah, they gotta do better on that. You can't be UFC fast and then you ain't moving on time. Yeah, I guess they tried to move away from UFC as far as they could, so they couldn't try to mess up their money like that. Yeah, but that fight, you right though, man. He beat him up. Yeah, that's a good question. He said Julio Cesar Chavez, Salvador Sanchez. Yeah, he's up there. Oh, Ricardo Benito Lopez. Yeah, Salvador Sanchez a beast. Yeah, that's a hard question. I had a couple of answers recently, but I was like, I might have to rethink mine. Mine changes a lot. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, anyway at 22, yeah, he would have got dusted. He would have beat the brakes off anyway at 22. Anyway has trouble with Mexicans. Yeah, that's an easy one, bro. Anyway has trouble with Mexican fighters. Yeah, Inoue has a lot of trouble with Mexican fighters. That's why when people say, "Hey, we want to see Inoue fight in America and stuff," bro, Inoue has been struggling with American fighters, Mexican fighters, specifically, and the left hook. See, that's kind of crazy how life works, don't it? They say how somebody can't get past the left hook, then Inoue gets dropped by the left hook twice against two Mexicans, and nobody mentions it. That just goes to show you how dangerous Mexican fighters are. They be making it seem like when guys lose to Mexican fighters over here that they supposed to be embarrassed or something. Like when Villa got beat up by that Mexican guy recently, I told everybody to watch out for. Nah, anyway, he ain't doing nothing in 6 rounds. No, sir. No, not after what we seen recently. Yeah, anyway, it's bad though that he can't get past Mexicans and it's not really being talked about because I know you know what they're gonna try to do? They're gonna try to avoid him going towards Mexican fighters. That's why they mentioning him with Nick Ball instead of Espinoza. Now him and Espinoza over there on ESPN right now. They haven't mentioned Angelo Leo. They haven't mentioned Espinoza. But they want to sit here and keep saying Nick Ball, Nick Ball, Nick Ball. Nick Ball, the smallest, shortest 126. Nah, give him somebody that everybody fighting. Yeah, they crazy about that one. But man, they better do something soon though. Because from what I seen with Andrew Ruiz, because I don't usually just come on here with no narrative or something. I just usually go with the flow. But the fact that I see Andrew Ruiz has a they gotta step it up ASAP. And Andrew Ruiz ain't fighting 2 or 3 times a year. He's fighting one time every couple of years. Jarrell Miller, Luis Ortiz, Chris Arreola, Joshua Twice. Yeah, man, they gotta do something about this, bro. They got to. This narrative around Deontay Wilder is getting way too old, man. They've been using this stuff to build these fighters up. And a lot of people know it, and it's got nobody anywhere. Heavyweights is more cluttered right now than it's ever been. They putting everything on the line for it. And to be honest with you, I feel like they kind of, and this is to be real, this is real. They kind of hogging Usyk, man, because why is Usyk just fighting British heavyweights and he ain't fighting nobody else? So they just gonna let Usyk fight none but British heavyweights, and nobody else gets a shot to fight this guy. I mean, how many times you gonna lose to this heavyweight before you realize, hey man, we ain't got nobody over here who can beat him? That's the thing that's crazy to me. Then the one guy they do have fight Usyk, Chaz Witherspoon. They had Chaz Witherspoon fight Usyk. He fought Michael Hunter and Chaz Witherspoon. No other Americans on there. That's crazy, man. And they gonna sit up here and act like, yeah, Ruiz and everybody else, Ruiz and nobody had a chance at Usyk. They're literally hogging this guy Usyk because, and you know what they be doing too. So when When Joshua lost to Usyk, they sent everybody at Usyk. They sent Dubois Usyk. They sent Tyson Fury at Usyk. They sent everybody at him. When Ngannou went out there and dropped Tyson Fury, they started sending everybody at him. They sent Anthony Joshua at him. If y'all don't remember, bro, that Joshua and Ngannou fight was the latest fight they've ever done. I'm gonna tell you, that fight they done for Ngannou and Joshua, that was supposed to be a fight that was at the same time as Fury and Usyk was the first time, like during the day. Man, when Ngannou fought Joshua, it was nighttime outside. It was almost the same time as when Canelo fought William Skull. And then the first thing Ngannou said was, "Man, I was sleepy before the fight, bro. If you was in Dubai and you were sleepy, I understand because it was nighttime out here. As far as I know, in Riyadh season fights, it's never been nighttime when a guy is starting the fight. I'm talking about when they started the fight, it was nighttime. It was pitch black outside. He said Frank Warren wants Bacoli versus Moses. Yeah, they gonna domestic it up. They're gonna do a lot of domestic fights, which is okay for them, but it ain't. I can only support so much of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you building up fighters and everything else, but when you gonna cross the water though? I told them about Jared Anderson. They claim that Jared Anderson win as a, you know, but that might be a mistake on Moses though. Bacoli hits hard. From what I heard, they said Bacoli a boogeyman. So he needs to go out there and they're gonna domestic it up, bro. That's what they doing. Even the guys in the UK tired of it, bro. I heard a guy who's a UK analyst. He covers the UK. He said that he's tired of them trying to Lomachenko every situation and trying to throw fighters into a championship fight when they're not ready. Guys like Dubois are ready because Dubois is a different kind of guy. But a lot of these guys don't believe in themselves to the point where now the guy Moses, he's put in the work. So I like Yard and Callum Smith. Yard put on a lot of good fights. That's why recently, Vic, when they were trolling Yard, you had the guy Simon Jordan from Talk Sport talking about some Yard was like, I fought Bitter Bill. That was fight of the year or whatever. He's like, oh, but you lost. But you lost. Yeah, but Anthony Joshua lost. He lost to Andrew Ruiz. But y'all act like he's still great though. So they can sit up here and Anthony Yard can have the same type of losses as Anthony Joshua. But they'll act like, oh, Yard ain't did nothing in the sport of boxing. They don't deserve UK don't deserve a fighter like Anthony Yard. They don't. From what I've seen recently, they don't deserve a fight like Anthony Yard. So when they say, oh yeah, we love boxing over here, we support it. Nah, when I just found out you don't. Yeah, the winner should go against Benavidez, which is most likely that would happen. Between him and Benavidez. We knew that Bitter Biv and Bivol was gonna have that rematch anyway, the trilogy. So I'm not surprised that Benavidez got to wait and everything else. You know, these sanctioning bodies just try to make it seem like, oh, well, we're just gonna strip this belt. Man, we know when y'all want to strip a belt. And to be honest with you, if y'all want to hear the truth, the reason why they stripped Bivol of that belt is because they don't want Bitter Biv to be 2-time undisputed. I hate to say it like that, but it's facts. Check the evidence. They don't want him to be 2-time undisputed. In Canelo's case, yeah. They'll have him set him up for William Skull and everything else. And then people be like, oh, they stripped Canelo. I don't know why they did that. Because they want him to be 2-time undisputed. That's why nobody's talking about him being 2-time undisputed, because in the history books, it's going to say he's 2-time undisputed. And then everybody's going to be like, what? How's he 2-time undisputed? Oh, he had that Skull fight. If you look around, no videos or no channels are talking about Canelo becoming 2-time undisputed after that William Skull fight. Well, y'all was on here when I was talking about how them doing that fight just because it made sense. I said if he's gonna fight Crawford, it deserves. Okay, I see what's going on, but because they'll fight for undisputed. But yeah, they stripped Bivol after he beat Bitterbill. So they want to make sure he don't get 2-time undisputed. So in order for those guys to get 2-time undisputed, they have to beat Benavidez. They ain't never said it about Canelo. Hey, Canelo, in order for you to be undisputed, you got to beat Benavidez. They don't say stuff like that. They know what time it is. That's why the politics, the sanctioning bodies, and everybody else, people are becoming numb to it. Yeah, he should. He should. If he does beat Crawford, I don't think it's gonna be Benavidez. I think it's gonna be like I think it will be in Billy or somebody. He might hang it up though. I think Canelo might hang it up if he wins that fight. If he beat Crawford, he's gonna hang it up. But a lot of guys like Pacheco and Billy and Janovic, they want not Pacheco. Pacheco ain't waiting on nobody. But in Billy and these other guys, Janovic, they waiting on Canelo fights to see if they can get an opportunity. I guess they heard something behind the scenes of possibly being an option or whatever, but only real Canelo fight I've heard as far as early next year is Chris Eubanks. Chris Eubanks is the fight that's supposed to happen next May as far as Canelo if he beats Crawford. Yeah, Canelo's not going to fight at 160 after that Crawford fight. He will be fighting Chris Eubanks. Probably have one more fight after that, but if Canelo doesn't have two fights after the Crawford fight with Eubank or Janovic, I think it could possibly be Eubank, Janovic. Then he can go into a Jake Paul fight. I think that's exactly what the plan is, to be honest with you. But Canelo was going to basically retire if he would have took that Jake Paul fight. He wasn't going to go back to fighting tough fights. So him fighting Crawford actually kind of helped the boxing community, because if he wasn't going to fight Crawford or William Skull, he was going to fight Jake Paul. He had already signed anyways. So Canelo, he's technically already ready to hang it up. Yeah. Chavez took on a young De La Hoya. Chavez was fighting a lot of guys old. Chavez fought a lot of guys old. Then guys was hopping in the ring with Pacquiao back then. Come on, man. Yeah, Mexican fighters jumping in the ring with Pacquiao. And I'm still surprised Canelo didn't jump. And you got to think about it. I said this the other day. Canelo didn't fight Pacquiao or Maidana. Stu fought Floyd, but didn't fight Pacquiao or Maidana. Adrian Broner fought Maidana and Pacquiao. And Canelo didn't fight none of them. That's why everybody was like, yeah, Maidana and Broner. They were so into the fight because it was actually a good fight. Wasn't nobody checking for Canelo like that, because Adrian Broner versus Maidana was the fight that got a lot of attention. Adrian Broner versus Maidana has got more attention than any of Canelo versus Triple G fights. Let's keep it a buck. Better fight, more entertainment. Adrian Broner let his hands go. So Canelo hasn't really been doing. Adrian Broner has made more fights for the fans than Canelo has recently. So yeah, he hasn't really been stepping on anything until now. I'll give Canelo credit now though, because he said last year out of his own mouth, Canelo said, I don't pick my fights. He said this before the Berlanga fight. Some guy from America had to ask him, I think it was like Sway. I think it was Sway, the radio guy. MTV, used to be on MTV. Sway. And he was on there and he asked Canelo about it. Canelo's like, "Oh, I don't pick my fights." He said, "I have a guy in my team. They go through there and select the opponents and who they think I should fight." He said, "But I don't pick my fights." And you gotta think about it. Canelo don't pick his fights. I don't think Canelo the zone and Eddie Hearn. He was fighting UK guys because he was with Eddie. And he was fighting the guys. He was fighting with De La Hoya because those type of fighters he had around, and that he could basically get in contact with, and make a fight. But nah, in my mind, looking at names, but the dudes Canelo fought was already on their way out the door. Most of the guys Canelo fight retires or they don't do anything in boxing after he fights them. And people make it seem like, oh, he's destroying these guys and beating them up so bad. No, he's not. No, he's not. These guys are just they're on their way out. Munguia had a better performance against John Ryder than Canelo did. John Ryder was on his way out. He retired right after that fight. And the thing that John Ryder said was, "Oh, I need another Canelo fight. I'm trying to get another Canelo fight. That's why I want to fight Munguia." Everybody want a second chance at Canelo after getting dominated, because John Ryder was almost gonna get stopped until Canelo hurt his wrist. Matter of fact, he hurt his wrist when he dropped him. That's why he was shaking his hand like ah. But yeah, Canelo, that's why I'm giving him I give him credit for fighting Crawford. You gotta realize, people might say, "Oh, Crawford's small and everything else." Bro, the small guys don't want to fight Crawford. What are we talking about? Crawford small. The small guys don't want to fight him. People are talking about Boots want to fight him. Yeah, that's the only guy. Virgil Ortiz just saying Crawford name recently, but when Crawford was in his face in his locker room after a fight, Virgil Ortiz went like, "Yeah, you next, you next." He wasn't saying that. He was saying that, but you seen the energy though. They know what I'm talking about. After that, I think Mean Machine fight. After the Mean Machine fight. But in my eyes, it's like, bro, if y'all feel like Crawford can beat somebody, guys should be, because I feel like Crawford's on Canelo level. Because as far as I know in boxing, ain't no old man at 47, 54 have been stopping people like this. Crawford been stopping guys so many times. The one time he don't stop somebody, it's headline news. Like, dude been smoking everything out here. Yeah, Berlanga want to run it back with Canelo. I thought Berlanga did good in that fight, but Berlanga got to get some rounds in though. I wouldn't invest in Berlanga fighting Canelo until he gets some rounds in. This dude got like 15 first round knockouts or something. He needs to get some rounds in immediately. I'm telling you, if Berlanga don't get no rounds in soon, he gonna get replaced. Berlanga's in the toughest position out of all these fighters. He's in the toughest position right now out of all fighters. This dude was born in Florida. He talking about he's from New York? What? Come on, man. Is this another guy who was born in Florida saying he's from New York? Why all these New York guys is born in Florida? Man, if y'all realize how many New York guys are from Florida that was born in Florida, that'd be crazy. Teofimo, Berlanga. I even heard Mace from who deal with Cameron is from Florida. None of these dudes be claiming the South. That's crazy. All these people from the South, they don't claim it. That's wild, man. That's like a dude being from Mexico and be like, "Man, I'm from Texas." Where was you born? I'm from Texas. Born in Mexico though. Yeah, I ain't never understood that. Like, where you born is where you from. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, Berlanga's in the toughest spot at 168 though. Because you gotta think about it. He's fighting at 160 right now. And it's a tough challenge. He's fighting at 160 at 168. The guys he still can fight at 168, and Billy, Munguia, Pacheco, Iglesias, Plant, Sajo, Lester Martinez. You got William Skull down there, Cullum Simpson. If these guys were smart, they'll overpay for a William Skull fight and show these guys how it's done. Even Benavidez said he would fight William Skull. That would be one of the only 160s, but he would have to make something happen. Still got Derevyanchenko walking around at 39 years old, giving guys the business. Yeah, man, it's like, I don't know. From what I seen back in the day, when boxing was in its golden era, the guys who were the top fighters, they had all the fights on their resume. They had all the fighters on their resume. Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, they fought everybody. And matter of fact, if you didn't know anybody, the first time you heard about them was through one of those fighters. Most people didn't know who Tarver was until Roy Jones fought him. So a lot of times you need guys. The boxers are the ones who discover the stars in boxing. These promoters think they're the ones who pick the stars. The fans and the fighters are the ones who make these guys stars. When Tarver got in the ring with Roy Jones, it made him a star. These promoters out here feel like you got to build up fights and everything else. No, you have to build up fights because the guy you got ain't good enough. So you out here trying to steal money and tell me to support something that I ain't even request for. So I'm out here paying for food that I didn't even ask I didn't even want this. You want me to pay for this? Yeah, they got these fights coming on soon. With Maxie Hughes and Archie Sharp coming up. Terry Harper and Natalie Zimmerman's fighting today. I can't even lie to y'all. What card is, bro? What card is Moses Atama on? I haven't even paid attention to that. They did a horrible job telling people that his fights was coming up too. I didn't realize he had a fight until like a couple of days ago. Yeah, I didn't realize he had a fight until a couple of days ago. Let me look up Moses Atama's fight card. So he fights tomorrow. Okay, I thought it was Saturday. I'm like, I ain't see no weigh in. Oh, it's gonna be a Josh Taylor fight. I keep forgetting that Josh Taylor's fighting tomorrow. I didn't forget, but I was thinking about the fight card that comes on today. People don't really know it's one coming on today. Actually, the fight card is possibly on right now. Got a fight coming on DAZN. Yeah, exactly, Pancho. Born in Mexico, raised in California. I got some of my best friends I grew up with. They was from Mexico. We taught them how to speak English and everything. Yeah, my dog Danny. Shout out to Danny, man. Danny, my dog. I used to play football with Danny every day. Yeah, that's my dog right there. Yeah, his whole family was from Mexico. Yeah, Danny don't be like, man, I'm from Atlanta. Danny gonna tell you, oh, I'm from Mexico. I'm like, Berlanga from Florida? That's crazy. When did these dudes start doing that? I guess, since Florida was, New York is, the jumping spot. That's where you spend most of your time. I guess the way he had his memories come from New York. So I guess he feels comfortable with that. But yeah, it's always good to claim both sides. Just don't have the fights down there. It would be better. I think Berlanga's last 2 out of 3 fights been in Florida. So it would be nice for the community to know that you was born down there. I think that would be that would boost your profile if they know that one of their own is actually fighting in Florida and you're in Florida, born in Florida, claiming New York, and you're fighting in Florida. It's not good promotion, brother. That's like me being from Mexico and I fight over there and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm from that don't make sense. Use your whatever you can to promote yourself. That would only make sense. Yeah, facts, Pancho. But yeah, Berlanga's gonna be in a tough spot though. And I got Berlanga, I ain't gonna lie. Been tough on Berlanga recently. I got Berlanga by knockout next fight. And I like Hamza Shiraz. The reason why I got Berlanga next fight with a knockout is because I think he got better since that Canelo fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he got better since that fight. I think he really got better since that fight. He realized in that fight, I can actually box my way through things. I ain't just gotta load up and he was forced to box in that fight. I don't know if people realize it. He even made Canelo pull out the jab and get to work, but yeah, he was forced to box in that fight. and that made him better. Yeah, and listen to Tupac. Yeah, man, that was the era right there. Oh, you going with Berlanga about TKO too? Yeah, I'm rocking with it, bro. I'm going with that because I think he on that. I think his confidence is there. Berlanga's confidence has been lacking. You know what I'm saying? He went out there and got outboxed by Angulo. He need him having that confidence to go in there with Canelo. He has like some of the worst ring experience in the game. So for him to have that kind of performance against Canelo, yeah, he's definitely gonna have the confidence there. And if you look at it, when Berlanga's boxing guys and he picks his moments to let his hands go, because he is a guy who's 6'1" and has 73 in his arm reach. So when he sits in the pocket and lets his hands go, but he can box too, like how Munguia does, but Berlanga's a lot more conscious of, hey, let me not stand in the pocket too long. I'm not trying to be in the phone booth. I think he don't get no credit for that, but he do a good job with his distance and jabbing and going to the body. Um, I think he been getting better for real. I think Berlanga just ain't had no experience, bro. He's only went the distance and he's went 10 rounds 4 times and got a stoppage in the last round. Oh, no, he went 10 rounds 3 times and he's went 12 rounds 2 times. So he has really not a lot of experience. I think Morrell probably has more rounds than Berlanga as far as going the distance, possibly. Yeah, I think Morrell probably has close to as many rounds. And Morrell only has what, like 10 fights, 12 fights now. Yeah, so he just needs rounds. So him fighting a 160 right now, yeah, I kind of see why it makes sense. Hamza Shiraz is like 6'3", he's a big 160. It definitely makes sense. And Berlanga's heavy, bro. He's like 200, man, and he's cutting that weight. And he looked like he had a little gut the last fight, so he still got some weight he can get off. To be honest with you, but I don't like that he only had 1 round his last fight, so he's basically gonna go into the next fight. Basically, not fighting since the Canelo fight because he looked like in the last fight he just lost some weight, jumped in the ring, and stopped the guy. But he's been in the gym and working though. But yeah, he definitely needs rounds, man. People don't understand how important rounds are to these fighters, man. I just told y'all, Chris Arreola. Y'all can look this up on BoxRec. Chris Arreola threw 1,100 punches, the most punches in boxing history, as far as for a heavyweight. Stu threw 1,000 punches for a heavyweight and 100, and he lost the fight. Possibly looked like it was a robbery. I don't know. I didn't watch the fight. I did watch it, but I can't remember. And that dude he fought has lost every fight since then. So sometimes robbing a guy is not the best thing to do. Sometimes that's a red flag. Like, hey, you might want to pull this fighter back. You might want to matchmake with him a little bit. But some of these people are matchmaking so these guys can get up to the rankings. Because the way this guy Moses Atama is moving right now, and this is Frank Warren does this. Frank Warren's a little more aggressive than what Eddie Hearn is. He'll push the button ASAP. So Frank Warren definitely does that. I thought in the past maybe he was moving a little too fast. I didn't question it as much, didn't like it. But now that I see, as far as Frank Warren is getting guys he knows that wants to fight. He has guys coming to him. I'm ready. I'm ready, Frank. Put me in the ring with this guy. You sure? Yeah. Put me in the ring with this guy. Danny Dubois coming to him. I want to fight Joe Joyce. You'll take that fight? Yeah, I'll take it. A young Danny Dubois. When he took that fight, I felt like it was too early. I was like, why they put him in the ring with Joe Joyce? Joe Joyce is like 34, 33. I'm like, why is he in the ring with Joe Joyce? It's a dangerous fight for a 23, 24-year-old. That's why recently a lot of people were saying, oh man, Danny Dubois is only 26 with a resume like this. Yeah, bro, he's been fighting tough fights. That's why you don't go in on prospects like that. Because they might end up turning up like Manny Pacquiao or Canelo or guys like that. Because guys like that take losses and then end up bouncing back and going on a hot streak. But yeah, that 168 division is gonna be on point, man. I think Berlanga, depending on how long he sits there, because Berlanga going to 175 will be tough. But I think he will go. The thing that's gonna save a lot of these guys is Bitterfield's older. Bivol, he's at 75. I don't know how long he'll stay there. But it seems like whether Bivol or Benavidez win or lose or whatever, they're still gonna want those guys to go to cruiserweight eventually. So Berlanga has an open door at 75, but still gonna probably have to deal with the same people from 68 that's in that weight class right now. So if I was him, yeah, you use a fight like this to get to where you need to go, but everything else from here is gonna be tough. He's gonna have Caleb Plant as an option between him and Charlo. We know that Berlanga was talking about fighting Charlo or Caleb Plant. So the winner of that fight could possibly fight the winner of Shiraz and Berlanga, depending on what direction PBC wants to go in. They might just keep that in house because they have been trying to do fights, that's not in house. I mean, Plant was trying to fight Berlanga. That's not an in house fight. They could have had Morrell and Caleb Plant, but they had Morrell and Benavidez, which is a better fight. So a lot of things I'm seeing does make sense. You still got to have domestic fights. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't just fight international all the time, but I don't know how long they're going to wait until it actually starts to, until you start getting the ball rolling, because you have enough young fighters to where you don't have to include everybody into every little domestic fight. But if you want to have guys active, but from what I've seen, bro, other countries are going to have the advantage over America just based off the activity. And they have. People are saying, oh, yeah, people are catching up to America. I mean, they possibly are. I mean, I'm not really paying attention to stuff like that, to be honest with you. I'm not. I like boxing. I don't care who's. When Manny Pacquiao was over here beating up Americans, nothing came to my mind to say, oh, Philippines is taking over. I just never thought like that about boxing. I like boxing. I don't do all the countries and stuff. That's why a lot of people don't watch the Olympics no more. I think people focus too much on what country is what instead of actually focusing on the talent. And I think that in American boxing, that's probably what kind of drains people a lot of times, because they know already going into the fight, or if a guy's, in a certain country, they're gonna have an advantage. But I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. Pancho Villa. Appreciate my dog Vic J for dropping out that cash out. I mean that super chat. I appreciate him for coming through, man. I'm probably gonna be on here later on to talk about well, I'm actually probably gonna cover this fight in a minute that comes on. So if y'all see me live, they do have, let me see. They do have Terry Harper versus Natalie Zimmerman, and they got Maxie Hughes versus I forgot the dude's name. I'm about to say Jonathan Navarro. That's who Cambosa's fighting. I forgot who Maxie Hughes is fighting. But that fight's gonna come on in a couple of hours, regular UK time. But I'm gonna be covering that, man. Yeah, over 100 punches every round is insane, bro. But I appreciate everybody for coming through. My dog Pancho Villa coming through. Good to see you, man. I'm gonna be on here later on for that fight. And I'm gonna cover it. I don't know what's gonna happen tonight, but if it's some more news to come on later on, I'll probably do something later on tonight.